Good morning, students.
Morning, teacher.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? All of you are fine? All right, so let's wait for your friends join and we can start. All right, students, so you're having your books already with you. Science books you already have. Okay, very good. All right, so today we are going to learn on page number 97. 97. Page number 97, light and shade. Light and shade. All right, students, all of the students, please keep your camera open, okay? All right, so let's start. Are you ready, students? You can start. All right. Page number 97, light and shades. All right, students, so we already learned about light movement. That light, light move in a straight line. So from the light source, when the light moves, so it moves in the straight line. We already learned about that. Okay, so now when light moves and hit a medium, it creates a shadow. So a shadow behind an object. So whenever, whenever like the light actually, it releases from the light source and it moves in a straight line. So that light actually, if in front of the light, they're having any object, any kind of object, any medium, so it creates a shadow. So the shadow, it will be created behind an object. So different objects, actually, they will create different kind of shadow. So an opaque object will have the clearest shadow. You already learned about opaque object. We having like a different kind of media. So opaque medium, those are like from which the light cannot pass through. When the light come out of the light source and it hit an opaque medium or an opaque object, so the light actually, it will not pass through from that object. So on that object, actually, when the light hit, so you will find the clearest shadow. They will having a shadow, a full shape, depend on the object. So there are many shapes of shadow which occur depend on the object, shapes, and how the light barrier is placed. So here in the light shadows, actually, when the light, it releases from the light source, actually, so the light, it will travel in the straight line. So in front of the light source, if they're having any sort of object, any kind of opaque medium, so from that opaque medium, the light, it will cannot pass through. So you will find a perfect and clear shadow, okay, behind that object. For example, you can see here in the photograph. So here we're having an object which is actually placed in front of the light. So the light actually, it's been released from the flashlight. So from the flashlight, the light, it's moved in a straight line. So if here we having an object, so this object actually it's an opaque medium. So from this opaque medium, the light cannot pass through. So behind that, we will find a clear shadow. You can see here, you will find it's like a bottle here, and you can see in the background the shadow of a bottle, right? So you will see the finest and the clearest shadow here. And most of these shadows actually it depend on different objects, like different objects, they're having like a different shapes. So you will find like a different kind of shadows. And how the light barrier is actually placed, like how do you place the light barriers? So the shadow will also depend on that. Here you can see in the both photograph here, while you place here in a bottle, you can see the shadow right here after hitting the light. So you can see here, you will find a different shade. Okay, so it all depend on the object, shapes, and how the light barrier is placed. So shapes of shadows are depending on how the light barrier is placed. Okay, have you tried that? Any of you students, have you tried while you point a flashlight to any object in the dark and you find the shadow? Have you tried that? Have you ever tried, students? No? You can try if you're having a flashlight. So in a dark place, and if you point it at an object, so you will find the shadow. So the shadow, it will all depend on the object, shape, and the light barrier. Okay, so now all right, so shades, a shade or shadow is the dark area behind an object that occurs from barrier that obstruct light. So here we're having actually two two different type of shadows you will find here. Okay, so shadow can be occur in two ways. It will occur in two different way. Way number one, first way, that one is, first one is if a light source is small or it is spot, a dark shadow will form. Like here, for example, you can see here in the picture, we're having here a light source, right? So if the light source, if it is small and they're having a light barrier, and in between you can see here an opaque object. So an opaque object, actually the light cannot pass through from that object. So what will happen? The light, it will pass from beside of the opaque object. So here you can see from the light source, when the light is released, it's passed through from the light barrier, and when it hit the opaque object, so it will move on the edges of the opaque object. So what you will find here, you will find a dark shadow. So the shadow here, it will be dark, right? It will be dark, and you will find the exact shape of the opaque object. Similar like that, if the light source is big, right? So if the light source is big, a dark shadow and penumbra will occur. So here you can see here we're having a light source. Here in the first one, we're having the light source. It's the small light source, right? And here we're having a bigger light source. So if a bigger light source, the light releases from that, and after hitting an object, so the opaque object, the light, it will move in a different direction. So one, you will see here the dark shadow, right? Here you will find the dark shadow, and apart from that, you will find here another circle here. So that circle, actually, that one is penumbra. So penumbra is actually a partially shaded area. It's a shade, but it's a partially shaded area. around the edges, around the edges of the shadow. Like from the small light source, you can see here, you find a dark shadow, right? But from a bigger light source here, you will find a dark shadow as well. But beside of the dark shadow here, you will find a partially shaded area. So it will be at the edge of the shadow. So these are the two ways actually when the shadow occur. Okay, students, you understand that? Two different shadows which occur. First one here, from the light source, which is a small spot, right? So if a light source is small, or it spot a dark shadow. If a light source, it's a big, right? If you're having a big light source, so it will occur a dark shadow as well. And apart from that, it will also create a penumbra. So penumbra is actually a partially, here you can see it's a partially shaded area. At the edges, you will find here. So these are the two different ways. Okay, students, you understand that? What will happen at the first one, while the small light sources and the bigger light sources. All right, so now here we are going to have one experiment, right? And before we go to the experiment here, have you ever tried, like for example, you can make an animal shadow, right, by using your hand. Follow the picture below. Here you can see here. Here, this is how you can make a shadow. For example, if you are in a place where a dark place and you make any sort of shape from your hand, right? And when the light, it releases from the light source, and after it hitting your hand, so behind your hand, as you can see here on the wall, so you will find a shadow. So the shadow you can make is per your movement of your fingers. Have you tried that, students? Have you ever tried to make any shape of an animal in the dark? Have you ever tried, students? No? All right, you can try. So just what you have to do here, in this experiment, you can do by yourself. Whenever you are in a place, you are in the dark place, right? So you just make any shape of your hands, right? Any sort of shape you make out of your hands. And then when the light, it hits your hand, right? So the light, it will not pass through from your hand. So beside your hand, behind your hand, you will find to make a shadows. So those shadows you can make in any sort of shape, in a shape of animals or anything. This experiment you can do by yourself, right? You can see here is it is given in the picture. Okay, now here, how do the shadows changes through the days? So in the daytime, actually, the shadows, it always changes, right? So it depends on the time, right? How do shadows changes through the day, all right? So during the day, shadows changes their sizes and location. For example, the shadow will be long when the sun is about to set. So for example, when there is a sunset time, when the sun is going to set, right? So the sunlight, when actually it hit any object, so behind that object, the shadow, it will be more bigger, right? So it will be in the sunset time, the shadow you will find more bigger. In the morning, a shadow will be on one side of an object, but it will be on the other side in a few hours. So for example, in the morning, when the light, actually when the sunrise, so the shadow, when it hit any kind of object, so the shadow, it will be on the both side, right? As you can see here, You can see here in the picture, it's given, they're having an umbrella on the seaside, right? So after the sun, when hitting the umbrella, right? So you find here the shadow will be on the opposite side, right? Then here, for example, if in the afternoon time, so when the sun, actually the sunlight, it hit on the umbrella, so you will find the shadow of that right at the bottom, right under, right? So that's why actually the shadow, it will be different in morning, afternoon, or either in the evening. So in the morning, a shadow will be on one side of an object, but it will be on the other side in a few hours. So it will actually change, right? Because the light source is actually, it changes the angle, right? Now look at the pictures and observe the location of the sun and the shadow of the umbrella. Here you can see, for example, in the morning, 10 o'clock here, you will find when the light source, the sun, so the sun is actually the bigger source of light. So when I hit the umbrella, so you will find the shadow in such sort of angle. Then similar like that, if you find it in the afternoon, right? So the shadow, it will actually change the place. You can see here, from here, it changes the places toward the other side. And now you can see here around in evening time, like 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock here, you can see here, the sun is about to go down. So you will find here the size of the shadow, it will be more bigger. Okay, so what we learn here that in the whole day, actually the shadow, it will change their places, and even the shadow size, it will be also changes. All right. Okay, students, you understand that? Anything, any question do you have? You have to try these experiment. Okay, the first one, to make animal out of your hand, just put any in front of your in front of any flashlight, just move your hand and you can make such sort of beautiful shadows of an animal. This experiment you can do by yourself. And the other ones, you can see here, you can note anytime in the morning, you look when the sun come out, right? So you look at the shadow of any object, then you observe in afternoon, the shadow, it will move to the other place. And then you also observe in the evening time. So you will always find the shadow, actually, it changes their place and it changes the size as well. All right. Okay, so now here, our next topic we having here, it's refraction. So reflection, we already learned in our last class about reflection. So reflection, that means when the light come out of the light source and it hit an object, so it will rebound, it reflect back, that is reflection. So here we having our today's topic, that one is refraction. So refraction here, refraction is the phenomena where light changes its movement. When light moves from one medium to another that has a different density, the light changes its speed, which affect the movement of light. So here you can see in the picture, refraction is actually, for example, if we put here any sort of stick in a tank of water, right? So when it comes to the surface of the water, right, we will look here in a different angle. But when it goes through the water, right, so you will find here, it changes the angle, right? So actually it's an object can look different because of refraction. So why it is looking different? This is the main cause of refraction, right? You can try, for example, if you take a glass of water, in a glass of water, if you put a spoon, for example, you take a half glass of water, right, and put a spoon in that, and then you look it to the spoon, so you will find the spoon, actually it will change their angle, it will change the direction. So it is because of the refraction, and it's all depend on an object, it can be different because of refractions. All right. Okay, so now here we having one experiment, right? Experiment about refraction. So experiment we have, what are the objectives to learn about refraction? Number first objective we have, experiment and make a conclusion about refraction. So we are going to find how the refraction is actually happening, right? Now, number two, explain the movement of light when it passes through different media. So here we are going to find conclusion of refraction, and we are going to find the light movement when it passes through different media. So here are some of the instruction. We have to read and follow the instruction, then record your findings and answer the questions. So here we required some of the material. So what kind of material we required? We required 4 different materials. First of all, we required one flashlight. Okay. Second one, we required a cardboard, any kind of cardboard we can take. And third one, we required one white paper. And fourth one rectangular plastic. Okay. So these are the 4 materials we required: a flashlight, a cardboard, a white paper, a rectangular plastic bar. Okay, so these are the 4 material we required to find this, to perform this experiment. Okay, so here now we have to follow this direction. First of all, what we have to do here, we have to cut the cardboard and stick it on the flashlight as shown in the picture. Here we can see we having the flashlight already, right? And we are going to take a cardboard. So the cardboard, where we are going to cut, we are going to cut it right here, just in a straight line, as you can see here, right? So we having a flashlight and we having a cardboard, and that cardboard we are going to cut, right? We are going to cut it here, as you can see here. Okay. Now, number 2, second direction. What we have to do, place the plastic bar in the middle of the water paper, right? In the middle of white paper. Okay. You can see here we already having a plastic bar. Okay. So the plastic bar, we have to place the plastic bar in the middle of white paper. We already having a white paper, right? And that plastic bar, we put it right in the middle. Use a pencil and line around the plastic bar. So here we can see here, we are going to use a pencil and we draw the line around. We have to draw a line with the help of pencil. Okay. And the line have to be in the perpendicular line. Okay. Here we can see here, we already draw the lines here, right here. Now, number 3, point the flashlight, making sure that line from the flashlight moves incidentally on the edge of plastic bar. Make sure that it makes an edge with the perpendicular line. So here you can see here, we already take the flashlight and we having a cardboard, we already cut for that, and they having cut right here. And then the flashlight, so when the light releases from that and it hit the plastic bar, so here, right here, then what we have to do, we just make a straight line. So both sides we having the line, we already draw with the help of pencil. Okay. And then we are going to find the angles. So here we having the light release from the light source after hitting the object. So here we having an angle, one angle, this one we give the name of A, right? And the second angle here we giving the name B, right? So draw the line of the ray that occur, measure the angle of A, B, C, and D. So here, first one, after hitting the plastic bar, right? And we draw the line already. So this one angle, that one is A. Then the light, it goes through the object to the plastic bar and goes out, right? So here we also make one more line. So the line right here, after the light goes through inside the plastic bar, we give this one angle B, right? And the third angle we are going to create here, that one is C. After the light, actually it goes out of the plastic bar, you can see here, and we having the line right in the center. So this part we giving D. So what we have to do here, we have to measure the angles of all four places: place A, place B, place C, and place D. So, and we have to keep the record. So what we having the record here. So at the place A, the size of the angle, it was 30 degree, right? Then the size of the angle at the size at the place B, that one will be 20 degree, right? And the angle size at the place C, that will be also similar, 20 degree. And the angle size at the place D, that will be 30 degree. So what do we conclude here? We conclude that the light actually, it moves from different object. So the refraction is caused. So the refraction, it actually always vary the angle. So the angle is always changing there. As we can see here, at place A, it remain on 30 degree. Place B, it remain on 20 degree. At the place 3, at the place C, it remain on 20 degree. And at the place C, the angle size, that one is 30 degree. All right, students, you write down already with you the different sizes, different angle sizes of this experiment. You write down and note down in your books. So after here, now we are going to move to the questions. So we're having here 3 different questions here, and we're having 3 different options given to us. So question number one, we have, are angle A and B the same size? And if not, how are they different? So we already know at the angle A, the size was 30 degree, right? At the angle B, the size was 20 degree. Angle C, the size was also 20 degree. And angle D, the size was 30 degree. So here is the question. The question is, are the angle A and B the same size? If not, how are they different? So option 1, equal because angle A and angle B are, and option 2, unequal because angle A is bigger than angle B. Option 3, unequal because angle A is smaller than angle B. So what do you think? Which one is correct? First, second, or third? Is it equal? Angle A and angle B, is it equal or unequal? Students, anyone can answer?
I think it's unequal because angle A is bigger than angle B.
I can't hear you, students. A bit louder.
I think it's unequal because angle A is bigger than angle B.
The correct answer is unequal, right? So unequal because angle A is bigger than angle B. That is the correct answer, because angle A we having in the size of 30 degree, angle B 20 degree, angle C 20 degree, and angle D is 30 degree. Okay, so the correct answer is second one, unequal because angle A is bigger than angle B. Okay, now question number 2. Question number 2, are angle C and D the same size? And if not, how are they different? So option number 1, equal because angle C is equal to angle D. Option number 2, unequal because angle C is bigger than angle D. Option number 3, unequal because angle C is smaller than angle D. So which one is the correct answer?
Unequal because angle C is smaller than angle D.
Very good. That is the correct answer. Because angle C was 20 degree in size and angle D was 30 degree in size. So the correct answer is unequal. Unequal because angle C is smaller than angle D. Okay, question number 3. From the experiment, which angles have the same size? You can choose more than one. So, number 1, angle A and B. Number 2, angle A and D. Number 3, angle B and D. And fourth one is A and C. Fifth one is angle B and C. So what do you think? Which angles have the same size? You can choose more than one. Which angles are the same size? A and B, A and D, B and D, A and C, or B and C?
Angle A and D.
Okay, angle A and D. Okay, this is the correct answer. Okay, any other angle, they are the same size.
B and C. Angle
B and C, that is the correct answer. So we having angle A 30 degree, angle B also 20 degree, C was 20 degree, and D was also 30 degree. So angle A and D, they are the same size. Angle B and C, they are the same size. So these are the correct answers. Okay. All right. So here, what we make conclusion. So the conclusion from this experiment, we having some of the words given to us. Make a conclusion from your experiment by choosing the words provided and fill in the gap. So number first, medium. Second one, refraction. Third one, more density. Smaller, bigger, different, more, less. Okay, so we are going to make the conclusion. When light moves to, what we are going to put here? When light moves to, we choose among these words given to us.
Reflection. I think
when light moves to different media. So next, when light moves to different media, so refraction of light will occur. Okay, so we already learned when the light moves to different media, refraction of light will occur. When light moves from, what will be here? Next.
less.
When light moves from a medium that has less density of medium, that has that has more density, the refraction angle is smaller, right? So we already, in the first experiment, we already learned when light moves from a medium that has less density to a medium that has more density, so the refraction angle is smaller than the incident angle. All right, when light moves from a medium that has What we are going to put?
More density. More density.
Again, please.
More density.
When light moves from a medium that has more density, to a medium that has less density. So the refraction angle will be smaller or bigger?
Bigger.
Bigger. That's the correct answer. Okay, so what we learn here from the refraction, when light moves to different media, refraction of light will occur. When light moves from a medium that has less density to a medium that has more density, the refraction angle is smaller than the incident angle. When light moves from a medium that has more density to a medium that has less density, the refraction angle is bigger than the incidence angle. All right, students. So you already write down. You already write down in your books. Okay, so this is all for today. You can repeat by yourself one more time and fill in the blank spaces, fill in the gaps, okay? And that's all for today in the science. So refraction and light and shadows. All right, teacher. Okay, students, you write down already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's all for today and the science. You can have a rest and see you in a moment again. In the next class, that one is communication. Okay, see you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, see you again.
Yeah.